A single sentence stopped the entire restaurant. The billionaire's elegantly dressed wife looked at the young waitress with cold contempt, smiled before the crowd of wealthy guests, and loudly called her illiterate. Laughter quietly spread through the luxurious dining hall as crystal glasses sparkled beneath magnificent chandeliers. The young waitress stood perfectly still, her hands trembling slightly while holding a silver serving tray. Many expected her to lower her head in shame and walk away. Instead, she calmly placed the tray on the table, took a slow breath, and did something so unexpected that every voice inside the room disappeared. Within minutes, the billionaire himself would witness a moment that changed not only his family but everyone fortunate enough to be standing there. Before we continue, if you believe kindness is stronger than pride and that everyone deserves respect regardless of their background, please take a moment to *** like this video, comment below, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the Everkind story. *** Your support helps us continue sharing emotional stories that restore faith in humanity. 25-year-old Lily Anderson had never been ashamed of where she came from. She grew up in a small farming town where books were borrowed instead of bought, and dreams often waited behind responsibilities. After losing both parents before finishing high school, she worked endless part-time jobs to support her younger brother, sacrificing her own education so he could continue studying. Although she never earned a university degree, Lily spent every free evening reading books borrowed from the public library. She believed education was not measured only by certificates but by curiosity, humility, and the willingness to keep learning. Her quiet intelligence impressed those who truly knew her, yet strangers often judged her simply because she wore a waitress uniform. Every Saturday, Lily worked inside the city's most luxurious restaurant, serving wealthy business leaders, celebrities, and influential families. The restaurant overlooked a peaceful river lined with green trees, while large glass windows filled the elegant dining room with bright natural daylight. White marble floors reflected sparkling crystal chandeliers, fresh white flowers decorated every table, and soft classical music floated through the air. Although surrounded by extraordinary luxury, Lily treated every customer exactly the same, greeting each guest with genuine warmth because she believed kindness never depended on social status. That afternoon, one of the restaurant's private dining rooms welcomed billionaire entrepreneur Richard Bennett and his wife, Victoria Bennett. Richard had built one of the country's largest technology companies and earned admiration for his business achievements. Victoria, however, loved luxury, prestige, and public attention. She often believed expensive clothing, prestigious schools, and social reputation determined a person's value. Their arrival immediately attracted attention as photographers gathered outside the restaurant while employees carefully prepared every detail for the important guests. Lily was assigned to serve their table. Everything began peacefully until Victoria asked for recommendations from the menu. Lily confidently explained several chef specialties, carefully describing ingredients, preparation methods, and flavors. Instead of appreciating her professionalism, Victoria noticed a tiny handwritten note tucked inside Lily's order book. Curious, she asked about it. The folded paper contained a short list of unfamiliar words Lily had been studying during quiet moments between serving customers. She had written their meanings beside each word, hoping to improve her vocabulary one page at a time. Victoria looked at the paper and laughed. She announced loudly enough for nearby guests to hear that it was obvious the waitress was illiterate because she still needed to write down simple words. Her mocking voice echoed across the elegant dining room. Conversation stopped. Some guests awkwardly looked away while others quietly watched, uncertain how the young waitress would react. Lily felt every eye upon her. Her cheeks warmed with embarrassment, and painful memories rushed back from childhood, when classmates had teased her for wearing worn-out shoes and using second-hand textbooks. For a brief moment, she wanted nothing more than to disappear. But then she remembered her late mother's favorite advice: never allow another person's cruelty to decide your worth. Instead of becoming angry, Lily calmly picked up the folded paper. She smiled gently. Then she explained that the words were not basic vocabulary at all. They were advanced literary expressions taken from classic novels she had been reading after work. she described how she challenged herself to learn 5 new words every day because one day she hoped to become a writer who inspired children growing up in difficult circumstances just as books had inspired her. The restaurant became completely silent. Several nearby guests quietly glanced at the notebook. Each page contained carefully written definitions, favorite quotations from world literature, and thoughtful reflections about compassion, perseverance, forgiveness, and hope. Rather than revealing ignorance, the notebook reflected extraordinary determination. Victoria's confident expression slowly faded. Before anyone spoke another word, Richard reached for the notebook with Lily's permission. He spent several minutes reading page after page. Inside were handwritten summaries of famous novels, reflections on history, poetry, philosophy, and countless inspirational ideas copied after exhausting workdays. Richard realized the young waitress possessed something many wealthy people had forgotten: the hunger to keep learning despite hardship. He looked around the dining room before quietly admitting that genuine education begins with humility, not expensive diplomas. Those simple words reached every corner of the restaurant. Guests who had silently witnessed the humiliation suddenly applauded Lily's courage. Several teachers dining nearby congratulated her dedication. One elderly university professor approached after finishing lunch and asked permission to read more of her writing. He later described her reflections as honest, emotionally intelligent, and deeply moving. Victoria remained silent. For perhaps the first time in many years, she understood how quickly appearances could deceive. Richard continued speaking with Lily throughout the afternoon, learning about her childhood, her brother, and her lifelong dream of writing books for children who believed poverty had stolen their future. Moved by her perseverance, he offered to fund a scholarship allowing her to complete her education while continuing to pursue creative writing. Lily accepted only after asking one condition. She requested that the scholarship also include opportunities for other hardworking restaurant employees who had postponed education because of financial struggles. Her selflessness surprised everyone. Richard immediately agreed. Within months, the Bennett Learning Foundation was established, providing scholarships, evening education programs, and library grants for hospitality workers across the country. Hundreds of waiters, cleaners, receptionists, and kitchen assistants finally received opportunities they had believed impossible. Victoria quietly began volunteering at the foundation as well. Listening to the personal stories of scholarship recipients slowly transformed her understanding of success. She discovered brilliant minds hidden behind uniforms, extraordinary dreams concealed beneath ordinary jobs, and incredible courage inside people she had once overlooked. Meanwhile, Lily finally enrolled in university while continuing her restaurant work part-time. Every evening she filled notebooks with stories inspired by the people she met. Years later, her first children's novel became a national bestseller, reminding young readers that kindness and perseverance can open doors no amount of wealth ever could. Whenever journalists asked about the moment her life changed, Lily never mentioned the insult. Instead, she spoke about the decision not to answer cruelty with bitterness. She believed silence filled with dignity often carried greater strength than the loudest argument. Her story spread across schools, libraries, restaurants, and social media, encouraging thousands of people to continue learning regardless of age, income, or educational background. ***, before we reach the ending, we have one special request. Please comment the word respect if you believe a person's character matters far more than their job title, education, or appearance. We'd truly love to hear your thoughts below. Years later, visitors entering the Bennett Learning Foundation noticed a beautiful quote displayed above the entrance. It read that the greatest classrooms are built not from bricks but from compassion, because every encouraging word has the power to educate a heart forever. Beneath those words stood hundreds of smiling scholarship graduates whose futures had changed because one young waitress refused to let humiliation destroy her dream. Lily never became extraordinary because someone insulted her. She became extraordinary because she transformed humiliation into hope, rejection into opportunity, and pain into compassion for others. Richard discovered that true wealth is measured by lives uplifted rather than fortunes accumulated. Even Victoria learned that genuine elegance is found not in expensive fashion or social status but in the ability to treat every human being with dignity. If this story touched your heart, Please like this video, share it with someone who believes in kindness, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the Everkind Story. Every like, every comment, and every subscription helps us continue sharing emotional stories that remind the world that the most powerful education is learning how to love, respect, and believe in one another.